Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
Welcome to Real Family Talk with your host, Jay Real, where we talk about real issues facing us today. Enjoy the show. Real Family Talk. Hello. Welcome to another week of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening tonight. It is another lovely Tuesday night. This week is not raining. Hasn't rained all day in Orlando today, so it's been a real good day this week. Let me go ahead and welcome the panel tonight. We're short a few. They're coming, though. They're coming. Sure they're listening as they drive in. But Miss Monica's in the building. How you doing tonight, Miss Monica?
Doing good. How you doing, J Real?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Miss Monica. I see Miss McCray is here. How you doing, Miss McCray?
Hola.
Hola, back at you, Miss McCray. So like I said, we got some more people coming in, but we'll call it the traffic got them down. The traffic got it down. Let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to talk and offer some opinions about the last week's debate with President Obama and Mitt Romney. So we'll talk about that. But before I get there, searching the news today, and I saw something that blew my mind, and this is a local story. The owner of Westgate, the CEO of Westgate Resorts, he apparently sent out a letter to his employees today that basically threatens that if President Obama is reelected, that they should expect layoffs.
Wow.
At Westgate Resorts. Sent out a letter to the employees warning that if President Obama is reelected, they should expect some layoffs at Westgate Resorts. Blew my mind when I saw this story. 407-894-1680 is the number at the station. 407-894-1680 is the number at the station. Now, to give you some history, now he is obviously a Republican. He prides himself in helping get President George W. Bush elected when he was running for office, and clearly now he's pushing for Mitt Romney to get in office. But wow, a letter to the employees. Now, and the funny thing now, in the letter, he made sure he said that, of course, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but of course, I do want you to be made aware of some of the consequences of the president being reelected due to different policies and procedures, of course, policies that the president supports, particularly raising taxes, especially on the rich and things of that nature. It basically is not going to be fiscally solvent for him to continue having the number of employees, he says, with these new taxes. Ladies, I know Miss McCray is fuming over there.
I'm just shaking my head. But you know what? See, that type of behavior and those actions, this is why the Republicans disturb me. Because it seems like, and maybe some Democrats are just as hateful, but it doesn't seem as blatant and numerous. All these type of things continue to happen because of the hate they have for President Obama. They don't just dislike his policies. They hate the man.
It's political bullying. It really is. Just bullying the people. It's like saying, you don't have to pay your bill, but I'm going to evict you if you don't. Well, more than likely, you're going to pay your bill because you don't want to be evicted. So he's saying, you don't have to vote for him. I'm not telling you who to vote for. But if this other guy wins, you can forget about your job. Whether or not, all of these policies come to fruition or not, he's already bringing about fear in the people on who to vote for and what's going to happen if President Obama is reelected and making it an uncomfortable workplace. And that's not appropriate for him to be doing, to make people feel like, oh, gosh, my one vote's pushing him a little closer to me losing my job, possibly.
Right.
Or
ridiculous.
somebody's going to lose their job, apparently.
That's crazy.
It really is. It is.
That is very well. I mean, again, I'm no stranger here. Everybody knows that I am pushing for Mitt Romney to be elected here. But I think the idea of purposely, sending out a letter to just let people know ahead of time, please expect to lose your job. Like, are you kidding me right now, bro? You please expect to lose your job? Like, I'm just working here, man. What does the president have to do with my job? But I believe we have a caller here. How you doing tonight, caller?
Fine. If you got a suit that low to tell people stuff like that, you feel intimidated because if you got to come up with all that kind of stuff like that, and you got to pray that you might lose, and you got to tell people who to vote for, that's bad. God don't like ugly. That's why President out here like he is today, because they did so much to that man. And God don't like ugly. That's why the job thing failed, because in his favor, because they're doing so much crooked stuff. And I'm glad he's going strong. I hope he goes stronger and stronger until the day time to vote. God bless you.
God bless you, too.
Thank you for your call. No, it does bring about the reason why people don't like Republicans. People that have a lot of money and, somewhat power, and the corporate world try to use that to intimidate people that, that may somewhat depend on them because they're the ones that are employing them. They use that to push people around and tell people what to do and make them feel obligated to do things. And that's definitely what he's doing, which is very wrong. So I hope it backfires on him.
I hope so, too. I hope it backfires.
Well, I hope it doesn't backfire, but
I hope it does. I want to write him a letter when President Obama wins.
But
say, nah.
He's definitely wrong for pressuring people into voting. Almost, definitely sounds like he's pressuring people into voting for a particular candidate. Now, I would imagine that the employees at the Westgate resorts aren't going to, go out and now rush and vote for Mitt Romney as a result of this letter. But the issue is not,
you don't know.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think from a political perspective, if you want a particular candidate to win, you're going to go out and vote for that candidate, and then the cards will fall where they may in relation to what happens as a result of this particular email. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. I see Jeremy has just gotten to the building. Jeremy, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good. How's everybody doing? I apologize for the tardiness.
That's all right.
But I'm here.
He is here. And as always, the always colorful Mr. Micah King has arrived as well. How you doing, Mr. King?
Is that a racial remark because I'm light-skinned?
Not at all, brother. Not at all. Being light-skinned is almost like having the absence of color. But so,
excuse me, but we are in style. Thank you very much.
What does that mean?
We're making comebacks.
Actually,
yes.
It's all about the chocolate drops.
No, unless you 5'2".
It's all about the chocolate men.
It's all about the
women.
Latinos, the Hispanics, and the yellow people. You got to have low pigment.
Brown people stand up.
Yellow team go.
But I told you he's colorful. So yeah, that's crazy that he would do that. So we'll see what happens over at Westgate Resorts, but definitely a little shady act on behalf of the CEO of Westgates. The amazing thing is he did it, and then reporters were like, nah, he's not crazy enough to do something like that. They called him, he answered, and he was like, yes, I actually did send this letter out. Is there a problem?
No shame.
Right, and the amazing thing is, the candidate that he is, pushing is proposing this, I want everybody to have jobs. But, he didn't say if Romney wins, he's going to hire 5,000 more people. He just said if President Obama wins,
right,
you're going to lose your job possibly.
Right.
Somebody
right.
losing their job.
So somebody's losing their job. So it's almost like, well, you're not interested in helping people get jobs like your proposed candidate is claiming to be, but you're one of those people that are going to get this tax benefit and all these loopholes and all this stuff he's talking about. You're going to probably benefit from that, and you're just straight evil.
It almost sounds like he's setting up his layoffs.
We'll see. I said we got Joe on the phone. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Hey, good night, man.
Oh, that's good. How you go? What's your comment tonight?
I'm just listening to you guys, and I heard what you guys saying, but I just want to say one thing to the American public. If they listen to all these crap that they're saying and vote for Mitt Romney, I just want to just let everybody know that it's going to be hell. That's all I have to say. And I'm just trying to tell the American public to go and vote to Mr. Obama, because if President Romney wins, we're going to be in big trouble. And if he wins, I don't want to hear nobody complain. Just deal with it. That's all I have to say.
Tell him, Joe.
You guys have a good night.
All right, you too, Joe. We appreciate you coming.
All right.
Joe is speaking the truth. If Romney gets in, it's going to be trouble.
Trouble, huh?
Trouble.
Trouble.
J Real, you're going to be so angry.
So happy.
So angry. It's just going to be bad.
Hurt.
But it's okay.
Hurt that he's been lied to.
Lied. Bamboozled.
Not at all.
Run amok.
Not at all. We'll move on from that. 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. Two more comments before I talk about this debate. The second one has to do with Stacey Dash. Have you guys seen the backlash that Stacey Dash has gotten? The other day on Twitter, she put out and talked about her support for Mitt Romney and how he was the best for the future of the nation, and encouraged people to vote for him. And Twitter went crazy. She put it on Twitter. Twitter went crazy. And now even, a lot of people, of course, chiming in to say, I can't believe, Stacey Dash is supporting Mitt Romney and trying to encourage people to support Mitt Romney. And, even today, I was commenting on some Facebook posts. And I had to laugh. It was kind of funny to me because I certainly wasn't offended by it. But I got one of my posts deleted today. I got a post deleted today. Simply, and my point about that whole thing, I don't think it matters who Stacey Dash supports. But the thing that I found funny is, people were criticizing, she made Clueless. And then clearly she is clueless. And what does a pretty woman need to comment on the election for? And, just different little things like that. And it was almost like, who is she to be telling people to encourage to vote for Mitt Romney? But it's like, how is that any different from people encouraging, other celebrities encouraging people to vote for President Obama? You know what I mean? Because had she said vote for President Obama, one, it wouldn't have been a news story because, all the celebrities are saying that. So, that ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? And then two, so we wouldn't even commenting on her had she said vote for President Obama, but simply because she said Mitt Romney, now she is evil. Now she is no talent. You know what I'm saying? She got fired from, I saw somebody say she got fired from, what was that show? Single Ladies. Single Ladies. And Lisa Ray's on there. And certainly Lisa Ray is nobody's stellar actress.
That whole show needs to be fired.
So, but it's just, I just found it funny that all of these people
I like the show personally.
are now hating on Stacey Dash simply because her personal choice in voting apparently is Mitt Romney. Like really. So now we can't like Stacey Dash either, huh? So who's next?
Whoever says they're voting for Romney, that's who's next.
You stick your neck out, it's gonna get chopped off. So just so you know,
you're X'd off my list. I am no longer a fan.
Wow. That this whole, I guess, 4 years, there's just been so much hatred, period, between, the two, the Democrats and the Republicans in Congress and the House, just between citizens. Everybody just hates everybody. If you are not a part of my political affiliation, you stink. And I just don't understand why
let me say
we're
this.
acting like this.
Let me say this.
Childish.
Again, 407-894-1680 if you want to make any comments on that. But at least in this building tonight and every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., we clearly are on opposite sides.
But we don't hate each other.
Of the table, but there is no hate in this building.
I still love you,
this is family.
I still love you, J.
We love each other. So there's no hate in this building, even though we blatantly disagree with one another.
Yes.
Clear.
There is love, though. There is love.
There's love.
There's nothing but love. But yeah, it's just kind of silly just to be hating on people. Who cares that? I mean, really, it's just Stacey Dash. You know, like why do we even care that she don't wants to vote for Mitt Romney? Like why? Why is that a news story in the first place?
Right.
It's no much more of a news story
43%, so
that Greg Anthony wants to vote for Mitt Romney. I didn't hear that story. I had to find that one.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's other basketball players that made a recent commercial to support President Obama. I didn't see that. That wasn't major headlines. You know, it's so what? You know, to each his own. And if that's what she wants to do, more power to her, you know. Let's leave the hate at the door and move on, people. All right, but we'll move on. 407-894-1680. One more comment here. Something else I heard. I was listening to some talk radio, and I put this post up on Facebook. Didn't hear a lot on Facebook about it, so I'm going to put it out to the family here. You guys tell me what you think. Representative James Clyburn, he was speaking to the host. And he made the comment, he said, you know, he's talking about Mitt Romney in the debate. And so he said that people don't realize that one of the cuts, or I should say exemptions, that Mitt Romney wants to get rid of, which, you know, he's speaking out the side of his mouth because Mitt Romney hasn't said what his exemptions are. So we really don't know. But let's just say, you know, this is his theory on what one of the exemptions that he wants to get rid of relates to the exemptions as it relates to church donations. Okay, and so he wants to, you know, if some churches, a lot of churches these days, you know, they basically, you have a member number or something to that nature, and then they calculate for you at the end of the year how much money you donated to the church, and then of course you have the ability to go claim that on your taxes. And so he said they wanted to get rid of that, and so he was saying, if he gets elected, that we should expect church donations, you know, to decrease. You know, and he brought it up because, you know, there's a lot of pastors upset about the whole gay marriage thing, and they're, you know, talking about them, telling some of them going as far as to say, stay home, don't vote for anybody because there's no good choices. And he's saying these pastors going to be sorry if Mitt Romney gets elected, people lose their exemption, you know, as it relates to tithes and offerings. And some of these pastors ain't going to have what they had prior to the exemption, is what he was saying. And I thought to myself, like, what? Like, really? Like, I first of all, I don't see Christians, you know, giving up their 10% and making the sacrifice and offering, and stopping doing that simply because the government says you can no longer claim that as exemptions. Because I don't think people are giving the money because of the exemption.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
you know,
most of them are not.
Well, most of them are not. Maybe there are a few.
I'm sure there's a few in the high tax bracket that sit down with the accountant and they tell them, well, you know.
I'm sorry?
He probably takes advantage of it.
Oh, yeah, he takes advantage of it, but, you know.
I'm sure there's a lot of people sit down with their accountant.
Sitting
there and be like, the accountant tells you, well, you know, if you put this amount over here, you know, it'll lessen your tax burden. But you know what? Let me write that check. All of a sudden, the TV cameras come on. We're giving a $100,000 donation to the church.
But what do y'all think? Do you think church donations would decrease as a result of the federal government removing tax deductions?
I mean, you're a trifling Christian if you don't.
I would say this. I do.
407-894-1680.
Okay, I would say I do believe they will decrease. But I don't think it's going to be something so significant. It's like, oh, my God, this tax cut has ruined giving. You know, I don't think it's going to be that. But I do think there is it's going to be a small percentage, which we all know are very selfish people, you know. But that's just nature. It's just something that's like that. And I'm sure they are going to back off a little bit because it's not going to benefit them if it is the case. What about you guys? Huh?
I still say if you don't give because you don't get your tax deduction, you are trifling.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree. Well, I commented on Facebook when he put it, like, you know, me and my wife we don't use it. You know, I mean, our church does it, but I don't take it to the accountant at the end of the year.
I sure do.
I don't see the point.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not even gonna lie. Like but when I wasn't in school, I put down I was in school. And I put down that I gave more money than I did sometimes. Okay.
You
That's
know,
Do you do
on
realize
tape,
this
right?
is going
This
on
is
the FCC airways?
Everybody.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm keeping it.
Other people are
He said he
listening.
keeping it real,
I'm
bro.
just keeping
It's
it
real
Keep
family
it
I'm
100.
about to say this is real family talk.
It is real family talk.
Okay.
I'm not
But-
saying that I'm not
Brought to
going to
you
give,
by
but
Brother King -07-9
You ain't have to say my name. I mean, yeah.
It's on the website.
But I'm just saying.
yeah, it is attached to the website with your face
And there
Well,
are pictures.
and,
well,
and the government.
They didn't know it's 3 men on here. I could have been somebody else. But now they know.
Okay.
You didn't have to acknowledge it either. You
But
could just say, who are you
it's
talking about?
it's a lot of people. From me having experience from doing taxes, it's a lot of people that come in with that paperwork. They will tell you to hold on, don't send it through because it ain't came back from my church yet. And it's people that look forward to it. Now people who don't want to give because they won't get that tax break. Now, like you say, I agree that that's trifling, but I do look forward to that tax break. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that, I only give for that. I'm saying I look forward to putting that down and getting that back. Because, hey, they stealing from us, okay? So you going to charge me for using your money? Like, come on now. I mean, what else I'm supposed to do? And that's all that taxes are really for. They charging us for using a product, which is called money. And I understand that. So don't take away any kind of break that I can get from you from using your own product. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, I would say this. Just like they said, you want separation of church and state and government. I believe when it comes, if we're going to do that, we have to do it all the way. Honestly, I don't know why the break exists in the first place because I personally just don't agree with it because how are you, like I said, I posted on Facebook when he brought it up at a comment. How are we supposed to be sacrificing or giving if we're going to just get it back at the end of the year? That's not a sacrifice. When you sacrifice, you let something go. And you're not worried about getting it back. That's what a true sacrifice is.
Right.
But at the same time, if you are allowed to get it back,
I'm not.
What is
that's
wrong?
why I said I don't. I'm not. That's why I said I personally just don't agree that should be a loophole. There's enough loopholes out there that church giving shouldn't be. I mean, you can get back charitable donations. Why don't you just do it through that?
I mean, I gotta go to the Salvation Army, give some clothes away, get the little certificate.
What you gonna do with the clothes anyway? Throw them away?
I mean, they hand-me-downs, brother.
I understand that, but everybody doesn't do hand-me-downs. A lot of people throw clothes away.
Now, you sad if you throwing clothes away and you got a younger brother.
No, I'm not even talking about having. I'm just talking about in general. Somebody need clothes.
But all I'm saying is that if it's allowed to do, it's not against the rules. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's not against
But
the law.
where is
No.
your heart when you're giving? Even with charitable donations, if you're giving without expecting anything in return.
Well, I'm not expecting it, but you are allowing me to get it. That's not expecting. That's saying that, hey,
it actually
keep a tally of it at the end of the year.
So that's
and then
the
you get a
expecting part of it.
percentage
Right.
of it back.
That's the expecting
The-
part of
the
it
church
when
keeps
you're
a tally
planning.
of it.
I understand that, but
Me personally,
but you're
I don't
expecting it when you're planning on getting it. When you know beforehand you're
I
gonna
don't-
get it and you're
see,
waiting for it. That's the expectation.
I don't do that. I don't even write my name on the tithe envelope because God know I gave it. But that's the beauty of doing my own taxes because I can just write down any number. So
Again,
Could you stop?
we at this station don't endorse
a radio
opinions of all
Station.
of all co-hosts of this show. These are personal opinions,
Personal opinions
personal
and
personal
actions.
views, actions, and views of the loan participator.
That brother said he gonna do what he gonna do.
Oh my gosh.
He gonna
You know,
get
now,
his
in a sense,
discount.
now in a sense, I feel you. I do.
if you don't agree, please call in and let me know. But if you do agree, please call in and let me know.
I want to know.
407-894.
Am I wrong?
1680.
Like, seriously, people.
407-894-1680.
If you are out there, please call in and let me
and
know.
I know it's some
am I
saints
wrong?
home.
Oh,
It's
God.
Tuesday night Bible study for some churches. I know y'all on the way home. Listen, y'all let us know, please.
Because half of y'all
This
do
could be
the
a
same
show
thing.
all of itself.
Like, seriously, because they do the same thing. They waiting on that tax break. They got the envelope. They got their name on the envelope, and inside every week, $200, $400, $40, $30, and then they hand it to me, and I add it all up, and then I go up under a certain form, and then I type in, okay, this is how much they gave to the church. Do you have your own business? Well, how much do you have? I go through that. This is what I do. I do taxes, but ain't nothing wrong with that, people. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, you cannot dog me for that if you work on Saturday and you know Sunday ain't the Sabbath.
Oh my God.
Like, if you want to go there, we gonna have to go there because
jumped from, like,
it's so many
Florida
other
to
things
Alaska.
that we
What in
do
the world?
Wow.
that are completely wrong versus
Wow.
well, you get your money back on your taxes and that's a sacrifice. What? And Sunday ain't even
I
a
didn't
sacrifice.
think they get the whole thing that
Is
they
it?
give
Wow.
back in their taxes.
They don't. You get a percentage.
407
Yeah, you don't get the whole
894
thing.
1680. If you want to call us about this whole whether or not the church donations are going to decrease based on whether or not the government will still allow you to have tax exemptions, feel free to call in anytime tonight. 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. So about the debate. About the debate from October 4th. I don't know how many people out there watched it. I know I watched it. I know a lot of people in the room watched it here.
Shout out to Sesame Street.
Shout out to Sesame
Big
Street.
Bird.
huh?
Yes.
And Big Bird, huh?
Shout out to
Which
PBS.
will be cut.
We will get to Sesame
will be
Street.
cut.
Elmo,
If-
free Elmo.
We'll
If
get
Romney
there.
gets elected.
My
We'll-
little girl just getting on Elmo. Free Elmo.
We'll get there in a moment. But let's just talk about general opinions. General opinions of the debate. What do we think? I'll start. I don't mind. My opinion. My opinion is this. I watched the debate, and then I watched a lot of the after commentary, and the thing that I will say is that hands down, Mitt Romney seemed a lot more prepared to debate the president about whatever issue was brought to him. The president seemed flustered at some of the comments that Mitt Romney gave back to him, in the sense, it was almost like, I think of the first comment that was brought up by the president as it relates to his $5 trillion, quote unquote, $5 trillion tax plan. And when Mitt Romney responded to him with, very forceful, very confident response, he kind of looked at him and was like, what, but you've been telling me, you've been saying you had a $5 trillion, blah, 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 blah. And he was just like, he couldn't move on, you know what I'm saying? He kept going back to the same point, even though, Mitt Romney kept, point for point, he countered him, but he kept coming back to the same point as if to say, I really ain't got nothing else to add, because, I was expecting you to say, yes, I do have a $5 trillion tax plan. And it kind of almost surprised him that he didn't agree with him. And so from that point on, he just seemed kind of flustered, even from the point where, this is a debate. A debate is really more of a let's call it a argument, organized argument, we'll call it, really. And, you think about how Mitt Romney, every single time he answered a response, he looked at the president. And I think I count maybe one or two occasions where the president looked back at him, without, during his responses or listening to Mitt Romney's responses. And I was just like, what's going on, dude? It's like, if you in an argument with somebody, they staring you down in your face, you're going to be like, you're going to look to the side and be like, well, my response to that is like, what are you doing, man?
Yes, we look
this
past.
man is staring you down.
We
like,
look past the haters.
Where's your moxie?
We look past the haters. We don't even acknowledge
No,
them.
they
We
don't
don't even
exist.
we don't even acknowledge them.
I don't even see you.
The wall is up.
So without question, of course, I would say definitely Mitt Romney from I'll use style. I don't really count substance because, both men told some half-truths and some partial truths and some true truths and some quote-unquote what we call lies. So,
They just said
so from a
lies.
substance point of view,
Lies.
it was what it was. But as far as controlling the debate, as far as commanding control and making sure a presence was known, I was in the building this night, hands down, you have to give that to Mitt Romney.
I think it was almost too much, though. It kind of turned me off because he seemed very aggressive and to some degree disrespectful. Like, I got to get my rebuttal. Shutting the poor moderator down. The guy's trying to moderate and he's, no, you gonna let me speak kind of thing. And I just thought that was just a little distasteful that, he was so aggressive. Like, you will get your turn. Hold on a second. And so I don't know. I seem like I just feel like he was just pushing too hard to try and make a stance, and to picture somebody like that in the Oval Office.
Yes. Hello?
Seems like
There's a test message.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We're
So,
back.
yes. So he seemed a little too aggressive. That if he were to win, I don't know if I would want that personality to represent America. You know, sitting in front of people that already have a volatile relationship with America, and he's, well, let me talk. I got something to say. You sit down. You hush. Kind of attitude. Like everybody's supposed to listen to him. I don't know, but I wasn't that impressed.
It pains me to say that, yes, the president, I don't know where he was during the debate. He was not there. He was not the sharp guy that he usually is. And at the beginning, it started off kind of rough, and I was like, okay, maybe he's just feeling it out. But as it continued to go, it was frustrating me. I almost wanted to shake him and say, what's wrong? What are you doing? And not to be on the level that Mitt Romney was on, because that's not the president's style. Mm-hmm. But he still could have just been more assertive about what he was saying and confident and be like, look, I'm the president. Daggone it. Mm-hmm. You gonna respect me. I'm gonna say what I have to say. I'm gonna pull out your BS.
I thought he did that.
Call it out. He wasn't.
He did that.
There was a point where he tried to, but he seemed like something was on his mind.
I heard him say exactly this. I had 5 more seconds if you would have shut up. I heard him say that. Am I wrong? I could have sworn he was assertive.
Well, he didn't say shut up.
Shut up.
I thought he said shut up.
But he did ask for his 5 seconds.
Yeah, I had 5 more seconds till you cut me off, so shut up because I am the president. He said something to that nature, and I felt like he was very assertive, but he was assertive with the moderator. You ain't debating with the moderator. What you doing?
He in the whole thing of not looking at Mitt Romney, and at first I thought
that's a soft move.
At first I thought he
that's
was like, I'm not even gonna give you the time of day.
You just
at
soft
first.
though. I don't even want to make eye contact with you because what you're saying is true. I didn't hear the president say nothing but education, and he talked about his grandma. That's all I heard. Like, dude, do you got a story? I mean, I tweeted that. Dude, this dude got a story for everything that he tried. He had Joe the plumber. He had the garbage man. Then he brought up his grandma. It's like, okay, whenever you're trying to make a point, he just bring out a story so somebody can relate to it in the middle class, which is cool. I understand that. But at the same time, President Obama came real weak at a debate. Now, I'm not going to debate with nobody and not make eye contact with them. That was weak. Sorry to say that. And if you look at the polls, Mitt Romney has gone up, I think, from I think it was like 9-3 or something like that. Now it was 6-9 or something to that nature. They were saying on the news. But I don't think Obama won that debate, in my opinion.
No, I don't. Anybody that says that he won is clearly batting for the team, and I respect that you're gonna ride for your candidate, but being objective,
right.
he lost that debate. You know what I mean? He like I said, he seemed flustered. He didn't really have a whole lot of response to what Mitt Romney was presenting. He had his points that he wanted to make, and he kind of stayed on his points, and he didn't stray from that. And like I said, and then how do you let him stare you down for an hour and a half and then not look up at him? I just couldn't believe that the whole time. Mitt Romney's a little animated, but
that's a soft move.
That's
President Obama.
that you have to expect that. Mitt Romney is in the fight of his life.
In my Huey and Riley voice, that's a soft move, President Obama.
He's in the fight of his life in terms of trying to get this presidency, and so yes. He is a little animated. He is upset that people keep distorting what he believes, his opinions are. You know what I mean? So yeah, he was a little animated, but that's neither here nor there. That doesn't mean you're gonna go in a business meeting and that's not reality. You know what I mean? This was a debate. They were debating. He was upset that the president was distorting his views on what he believes his issues are, and so he wanted to respond to that. But yeah, you're lying to yourself if you think the president won that particular debate. Maybe he might get the next one. Hopefully, obviously, according to everything his people are saying, He's going to have a different strategy for this next type of debate. I think it's going to be more his style. He gets to engage with people. He likes engaging with people. He usually does well when he does that. So we'll see, you know. And Mitt Romney is not quite known for being the most engaging guy. He really carries that CEO type mentality, you know. Here's the numbers. Here's what makes sense because of these numbers, and that's where we are. And so we'll see how he does. He has done better
robot
lately.
make eye contact.
He has done better lately in kind of getting across his personality. Starting back when they had the convention, he had different people out because apparently he used to be a pastor at his church. I knew he was a bishop at the church, Mitt Romney. But he was some kind of pastor as well at the church. Lead pastor, I don't know, but a pastor nonetheless. And so, you know, he'd had some issues, and obviously he dealt with, you know, counseling situations and helping people in that terms of capacity. So obviously the ability is in him. Now, whether or not he can bring that across to people, though, we will get a real good opportunity to see at these next debates. October 16th is when that debate goes down. So we'll see how that goes. Brother Jeremy, you're pretty quiet over there. I can't believe you ain't said nothing about your boy tonight.
I did. I said we looking past the haters. And I'm just saying that your boy, Mitt Romney, he was very, as you like to criticize the vice president, he was very Joe Biden-ish with all that huffing and puffing.
He was defending himself. I mean,
and let me tell you something I always was taught growing up. Say you ain't got
407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. Give us your comments, please.
They always say you ain't got to worry about the person running their mouth all the time.
Well,
deep words from Brother Jeremy Smith.
Not really, because it was a debate, brother. That's what you're supposed to do.
You ain't got to worry about them running their mouth all the time. I'm talking about all that huffing and puffing. You know what I'm saying? A debate is one thing. You know, you can debate, but all that huffing and puffing.
So how do you think President Obama did, Jeremy?
He won. Because when he stepped into the building and he said, I am the president, case closed.
okay.
Take away the Sesame Street comment.
Let's talk about the Sesame Street comment for a moment.
I don't want to talk about it.
Let's talk about the Sesame Street comment. So of course, Facebook after the debate went crazy on the Sesame Street comment. Well, before I see do we have a caller there, brother Mr. King? There he is. Mr. Jimmy Shine is in the building.
Jimmy
Shine.
I know you appreciated President Obama, didn't you?
Hey. No, man. Let me just say, somebody misunderstood me last time. I am not going to vote for no Mitt Romney. Nothing can be further than the truth. My only disappointment is that I wish we had somebody who would truly represent the people on the Democratic ticket besides Barack Obama. And that's the point I was trying to make. No, I would never vote for Jimmy Shine. I would never vote for Mitt Romney. I've never voted for a Republican in my life. But I just want to say that I don't think that Mr. Obama is sincere. And I say that because every time he comes to this town here, Orlando, Florida, he goes everywhere else but where we at. Have you noticed that?
All the time, brother.
Everywhere where we ain't, that's where Barack Obama gonna go.
Now you know what he does, Jimmy Shine, is he calls into the urban radio stations. That's how he connects with us. So he calls into some of the local urban radio stations. He always hits those national urban radio television programs. That's how he kind of dials into our community. But yeah, you're right, brother. He doesn't he doesn't come over and ride through Chicago Shores or nothing like that.
No. Let's just keep it real. Some of y'all don't go through riding through Chicago Shores.
How about that?
All right, let's just keep it real. All right, okay.
Well,
y'all live here. Y'all don't go through what he gonna come from out of town.
Well, that's fair.
That man like his car too.
You don't want his car stolen. Anyway, hello, Real Talk family.
Hello, Jimmy Shine.
Is everybody good tonight?
As always.
As always, brother. It's Tuesday.
You know, y'all really are a part of my family because I wait for Tuesday night and I try to catch y'all when I get off from work.
All right.
And a lot of times it's late, so I get in on the show late. But I try to get in as much as I can. Show support, show love.
We appreciate it, brother. We appreciate it.
We will be in touch.
All right,
Bye-bye.
brother.
All right.
So, piggybacking on the Sesame Street comment. So, like I said, it blew up Facebook, Twitter. Even I was watching Al Sharpton on the next day, and he had to make it a point to talk about it. And I even sent him a tweet about that. Really, Al? All the news in the world, and you talking about Big Bird? Okay. So what was the comment? The comment was that he tried to lay out a couple of things that he would cut, and so one of those things, of course, was funding as it relates to PBS, and so that's what he said. He cut some of the funding to PBS because he didn't feel it was necessary to do that. Okay, so that's what he said. Okay, and then we know where they took it. But we have another caller, so I'll let you comment, and then I'll come back. Caller, how you doing? This is Jasmine.
Yep, this is Jasmine. How's everybody doing?
We're doing all right.
How you doing, Jasmine?
Good. I just wanted to call in really quickly. I've been listening to the show, and I've heard some really good comments. But I just wanted to comment on something that the last caller said, and something that you agreed to, Mr. Smith, when you said that the president doesn't come into our community. Well, the president came into our community in February of this year, actually was right off of Paramore and by the old Amway, and did an event there. We all have the same access to the president. We all are given the same information when he comes into town. Go down there, stand in line, and get your tickets. There's no special privileges. Let's do something to help him get in office. Let's do something that doesn't require us to seek something from him. And I also want to make another comment about there needs to be more vocal Democrats coming out and speaking on behalf of Democratic individuals and Democratic issues. We need more people. We don't need cheerleaders. We need more people to come to the forefront. We have local candidates who are Democrats who aren't coming out and speaking for the president, who aren't being as vocal as they should be. So I think you're absolutely correct on that. And so that's just what I wanted to share. We're given the same access, the same information. We need to utilize it instead of requiring the president to always have to do something for us, or anyone for that matter.
I like when Jasmine calls.
Appreciate the comment.
She speaks the truth. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
We thank you for calling, Jasmine. We appreciate
No
you
problem. Have a good night, you guys.
All right,
right.
you too. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. So again, he said he would cut funding to PBS. He didn't feel it was necessary for the government to continue funding PBS and then other programs like it. Again, he's a little vague on the specifics, but that was his comment. And so, of course, everybody, he's firing Big Bird.
That's
he's
what he
firing
said.
Big Bird.
That's what he said.
So
He said, what
he said was, I love you, Jim
Right,
Lear.
I love you, and
I love
Big
Big
Bird.
but I
we
cut
don't-
funding to PBS.
There you go.
That's what he said.
So he said it.
He said it.
That's what he said. But he didn't say he was firing Big Bird. Because let's be honest, if the government stopped funding PBS, that doesn't necessarily mean, I don't think it means at all that PBS is going to somehow go away and disappear forever. And it certainly doesn't mean a franchise, a staple like Sesame Street is going anywhere, because there are plenty of people out there who have the funding to fund Sesame Street, and then continue to produce that show, if not on some station we call PBS, on some other station in America, because there's obviously hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stations out there, especially if you got cable, and most homes in America do, so that you don't have to just watch it on PBS, and it's not going to get hurt because it goes to some other station. You're not gonna see the ratings drop, blah 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 blah, just because it moves to a different station. But we got go ahead.
Real quick, but understanding that even by him saying that, the amount that it would take out of the budget was like point something. It was irrelevant.
0.12 something.
It's
But it's not
I know the number.
borrowing
The
from
number
China.
is approximately
Not
444 million. That's the
Forget
number.
Sesame
But I'll
Street.
even
It's not
comment on
worth
that.
it.
But I'll let the caller speak here. How you doing tonight, Miss Alexander?
I'd just like to make a comment. When President Obama first started off as a candidate as president, and all the blacks, I won't say all of the blacks, that's the majority of the blacks, they got very concerned about his denomination affiliation. And you remember when the minister that he was up under he made comments about him and everything. And a lot of the blacks, too, they were very concerned. Not just the blacks, but, you know, the other political parties. But it is so strange that none of the blacks, and I'm saying blacks because I'm black, too, none of the blacks made mention that Romney does not even accept Jesus as Savior. He does not even acknowledge the Trinity. And nobody said anything about that. But then Obama said that he endorsed the gay rights. You know, everybody got upset. Which is worse? You know, and I heard you say that, you know, the different issues that we have a lot of issues as a black race, but we don't support President Obama like we should. And I'm going to say that because I hear some of us say Obama. He's President Obama, the man. And, you know, the whites watch that. And it look like when we have somebody in office, we do not support them fully. We get on the radios and the television, and we say everything about them. But, you know, one thing about the Republican Party, they support one another. You know, I appreciate what you all are saying, but I think that President Obama needs more support from the blacks than what he gets. Because everything he does, we be the first ones to pinpoint it. Now, even about him coming in the community, how many other presidents came in the community? How many of them came to Paramore? How many of them came to Pine Hills?
Well, I appreciate your comment, Miss Alexander. She had a lot to say.
And I appreciate you all, but I'm just saying, I think and may I say this, no offense to the men, but you men need to support him more. I feel that, you know, the men need to become the men to stand up. I'm not telling anyone who to vote for, but, you know, it's so funny. I want to tell you this. You remember when the panda died, the black and white panda?
Okay.
And you know what came to me?
What's
Their President Obama, he has a white mother and a black dad, and they don't even support him whatsoever.
Okay.
We need to support one another more. And I love you all, but
Thank you.
We need to support him more. We need to respect him more.
All right. We appreciate your comment, Miss Alexander. Thank you. You too. You too.
Thank you.
All right. I'll comment on Miss Alexander in a moment, but we got Angela on the phone. I'll let Angela get in here. Go ahead, Angela.
Yes. Hi. Good night, gentlemen, and there's a young lady there. How are you?
Hello. How you doing?
Yes. I had a couple of comments, but I actually wanted to concur with the caller before me about the support and the respect for this president that is so lacking. It is very lacking, and it's very sad because, you know, for the first black president, and it's because he's black for me, but he is the president, and he does deserve the respect that he does not get. And it's not just the black community, it's the white community as well, that especially the Republicans that has really dissed this president and really, you know, belittle him and treat him like he's a little boy or a little slave boy under their feet. And it's very upsetting to me. And I don't just say it, it really upsets me. And with the debate situation, I think we need to take in consideration the narrator that they had for that debate. I think that some of the blame should be put towards him, and it shouldn't be a blame thing because I think the president performed well. He didn't attack Romney on the lies that he told and the made-up stuff, and it's hard to debate somebody that changes position every 2 seconds and you don't know what they're coming with next. It's very difficult to debate somebody in that format with that behavior, especially when they're coming at you with an attack mode. It's very hard, and I hear everybody saying Romney won the debate, but I don't think he won anything. For stylisticness, yes, he may have come across like he knew what he was saying or he was saying something that's benefiting the American people, but I don't think so. I don't think so because somebody that switches back and forth like he does, he's not a reliable person. He's not, to me, he's not forthright. He's not honest because he changes his position every two. And I heard this gentleman calling for the president not sincere because he doesn't come to our community. The president has been here so many times. Yes, he may not
have come into Pioneer, but he's been in the local Orlando area. If we wanted to go see him, we had the opportunity to go see him and meet him, you know. And I think that the disrespect for this president is watching worldwide. People are watching how we treat
All right.
this
I thank you, Angela, for your comments tonight.
Okay,
I appreciate
I
it.
just wanted to notate that.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. So piggybacking, both callers hit one point, which is they feel like the president is being disrespected. And I'll say to that point again, I've said, we talked about this in the past. I don't think anybody is, I think overall, especially, overall, the president is not being disrespected overall. Okay, I'll say again, I will admit there's a channel out there, and there are several conservative talk show radio hosts that certainly seem to kind of go a little too far sometimes. But overall, I mean, when you look at the general perspective of all the media that is out there, I don't really see the disrespect of the president. I don't see it. I don't see like most of people are disrespecting the president. I don't think it's most. Certainly a percentage, I agree, but definitely not most. I think that is an exaggeration. To her comment about Mitt Romney's religion, to that, I've said here before, I don't think religion has anything to do with who you put into office for the presidency. I think it has nothing to do with it. As far as what they said about the president, I think it was wrong that they tried to claim he was a Muslim. I think that's wrong. Even if he was a Muslim, so what? What's wrong with him being a Muslim? There's some good Muslims out there. Every Muslim's not out to kill all Americans, so what's wrong with that? So I don't think his religion is neither here nor there. And what the Mormons believe, I really don't know fully. But you know what? I really don't care either, because this is America, and you have the right to believe whatever you want to believe. Whether there's a Jesus, whether there's not a Jesus, whatever you want, that's what you can do in this country. So I think that bears no mention of anything. And then as far as telling the truth about what's going on, who's not telling the truth? Everybody's not telling the truth. Everybody's manipulating. Everybody's manipulating what's being said out there. And not necessarily bringing across the exact truth. So that's politics. President Obama did it. If you go online, you can look at. Actually, go to the website RealFamilyTalk.weebly.com. I put up several articles where they're fact checking both candidates for the presidency here, and both of them told some half truths and some lies, if you will. So it's not exclusive to any one particular candidate. It's everybody. But I'll let you guys comment. What do you guys have to say?
Well, I know this is going back a few topics, but I got to say this. The issue with the whole Sesame Street thing and cutting funding is if somebody else picked it up, it's not free. PBS is free. You don't need cable to get it. I mean, anybody in this country, as long as you can plug a TV into the wall, you can get PBS. And like I was saying this before, I don't think he necessarily feels the sensitivity behind it because, maybe he was in a position where he didn't, or maybe his kids didn't grow up watching Sesame Street. They didn't learn watching Sesame Street. But I did. All right? And my kids are. And they like it. Like I said, my daughter's just getting into Big Bird and Elmo.
It's like, what, 60 years?
And it needs to be here.
Sesame Street.
It's not about going anywhere. I understand that.
Didn't fund it.
It's about what he said behind it. It's not worth.
It's not
borrowing
about that.
money for it to keep there.
It's not even about that.
Important.
I understand Sesame Street in itself is a conglomerate. So obviously, yes, it's not like it's not going to get shown on TV, but it's not going to be shown on TV for free.
You don't know that. Why is it? Because again,
there's nobody else. Who else shows free cartoons?
Well, first of all,
every day, every morning.
Hold on. PBS has.
You need cable.
Hold on. PBS has a payroll just like every other television network. So they're not just getting money from the government, and then that's how they support themselves.
Donations a lot.
Yeah, they get a lot of donations.
So who's to say that just because the government stops paying $444 million for PBS to be PBS, that somehow PBS is not going to be PBS anymore? There's no proof that because that happens, you're going to all of a sudden lose PBS. So there's no proof to that.
Where's $400 million coming from?
Dude, there's plenty of people in this country that have money to donate to whatever they want. There's plenty of people in this country that have money to produce programs for whatever they want. So who's to say?
But
who's
what's
to
that
say
church
that
channel that does the same thing?
Who's to say that's going to somehow go away? There's no proof to that. And to your point, Ms. McCrae, you mentioned
it is proof.
No,
he's cutting. If he's cutting,
No,
you're talking about a
There's
free
no truth
service.
Yes, something that's
There's no truth
harmless.
to that.
It is true to it.
There's no
truth to say he ain't.
I don't care.
It is no truth to saying it's going to stay. No, where have you been that you've seen something that's cost $400-something million a year that the funding gets cut and it stays alive? Just name one.
I don't have one.
I
don't have one.
I know.
But again,
it's gone.
But that doesn't mean
save Sesame Street. That's all I'm trying to say.
I mean, Sesame Street is $1 billion industry.
I understand that.
It's going to disappear?
The thing.
No.
See, you're missing the point. Like I said, Sesame Street comes on for free every morning. Other than that, you have to have cable to watch morning cartoons. I don't know. Maybe, a lot of people don't know that, but you have to. It's not like it was when we was growing up.
Sesame
you
Street
have to pay to watch cartoons if you're not watching PBS.
It's a $1 billion industry. You telling me they can't find $1 billion?
This man still ain't hearing me.
Out of $1 billion,
this man still ain't hearing me.
They can't find some money to keep Sesame Street free. If they wanted to, they can because clearly they're making a profit. So don't tell me that it's going to go away.
It's not going to be on PBS. I didn't say it was going away. I said it's not going to be on PBS.
Go up because now we have to pay for Sesame Street.
Exactly.
So every one of us now is going to have to pay for Sesame Street instead of having it for free.
I'm going to just say something. I know everybody in the building loves President Obama.
No, it's not even to me. No, this has nothing to do. This has nothing to do. This has nothing to do. This has nothing to do with President Obama. I'm just upset because this man said he's getting rid of Big Bird.
Come on.
That Big Bird heard a place near and dear to my heart.
Come on.
And I was offended when I heard that.
Come on. Back to your comment, Ms. McCrae. So like you say it's a small part of the budget.
So
the point is, right? When you start cutting stuff, right? So you have a $1,000 budget at home, right? And you say, oh man, I need to find a way that I can keep more of this $1,000 budget. So what do? You don't go to the thing that costs you $500 a month and cut that. No, you go to the little stuff, the stuff that you spend $20 on here, $20 on there.
So now 7th Street don't matter now, huh?
$5 here, $10 there. That's the stuff you cut.
That's how I learned how to
You cut
count.
the little stuff, and then as you begin to cut the little stuff, it begins to add up to bigger stuff, and then that's how you make cuts. That's you don't need to be the president of the United States to figure out that's how you save money, because we do that at home on a daily basis, or I should say a monthly basis, when we're thinking about our budgets. So that's his comment. So there's nothing crazy about that comment. That's how you make cuts. You can't go and cut Medicare. You can't go and cut Medicaid.
Why they gonna do it anyway? They cutting it.
You can stop funding it and cut it off in terms of funding. You can say that the funding level it is today, we're going to leave it at that funding level. But you don't say, well, we're going to cut $14 billion off of Medicare. No, you can't do that because you're going to hurt too many people in doing that process. But you can cut it off and say, well, we've been increasing it every year by 3%, so this year we're only going to increase it by 1%. That you can do, but you don't cut it off completely, and that's all the man's saying. He's not saying, Bitburg has no meaningful place in society.
He did.
And
he said, I love Big Bird, but hey, he got to go.
Can we have a serious conversation in the building tonight?
This is serious.
It's
serious
but
to me.
I think the thing is, the first thing that came to his mind is to mention to the moderator who is employed by PBS that I will reduce your job. I will leave you without a job.
That is not what the man said.
But he said, I'm
Can we talk about what he said?
But I'm a cut
and
PBS.
Not what you thought it meant?
Is unemployed.
That man is not going to be unemployed.
He's going to have to find, whether it takes 2 minutes or 2 hours or 2 days or 2 months. For that moment in time, when he cuts PBS, the man is unemployed.
Whatever.
And so, while he's sitting here saying, I believe in jobs, he's going to put
and he gonna sit here and tell you. And he just told that man,
worth of salary out of commission.
When y'all ready to have a serious conversation.
We're having a serious conversation.
PBS.
This is a serious conversation.
Please come back to me.
The man said he was cutting the funding.
407-894-16.
The man said he was cutting the funding.
When he could decrease the travel expenses of the senators and, traveling, all these
he can't do that
plush
because
things that
he's
everyone gets.
Well, you know what I would say to that comment? All of these Democratic candidates out here or people that say they care about the people and blah 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 blah, you would think that would have been on their agenda. But clearly that's not on their agenda as Democrats, the people who care about the middle class. So I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, you can't fault the Republicans when the people that supposedly care about you ain't even starting the initiative. Nobody's trying to cut back. I'm
gonna say all of them.
They funded none of them. So you know, that's not on Democrats. That's all of them. All of them should have not exempted themselves from having to participate in the Affordable Health Care Act. That was the most wonderfulest thing in the whole wide world. So it's all of them.
That Romney said he's gonna keep. But he's just going to rename it. That is all he's going to do.
That's what he wants to do.
He's keeping the same
we
stuff.
Got, I see we're winding down.
Obamacare's on my list. I apologize, Mr. President. I use that term with all respect, by the way. Good. Okay, good. So I'll get rid of that. I'm sorry, Jim. I'm going to stop the subsidy to PBS. I'm going to stop other things. I like PBS. I love Big Bird. I actually like you, too. But I'm not going to keep on spending money on things to borrow money from China to pay for us.
You're fired. That's what he just said.
No, that's not what he said.
But he flicked his hand and his hair moved and everything. Just like old boy did. The real estate did.
We're winding down. A couple comments before we wind down. Remember, it is check us out on the Facebook page. We're trying to get some more likes on the Facebook page. Would y'all go like the Facebook page?
And I know y'all on there because I see you.
Facebook.com Real Family Talk 1 is the Facebook page. Can y'all go like the Facebook page? For some reason, people keep going to the Facebook page. A couple weeks later, then the number goes up, then it decreases once again. Like, why are they unliking the page? We love
maybe
y'all.
somebody got to say.
Yeah, there's a particular person that doesn't like.
But let me say this. This page is the page. Please like the page. This page is not just all about what J Real has to say. We're all part of Real Family Talk. This is a family, so y'all liking us too. And to the event that's happening that y'all see on Facebook, I invited every single friend on my friends list. Y'all go like the page. That's hundreds of people now.
He's serious about that thing.
Go like the page, please.
But we're winding down. Remember, find us
support, like they say, support black business.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're winding down. Now, remember, we're on Twitter. We're on Twitter at Real Family Talk. We're on YouTube at Real Family Talk. Check out the website. We're all we're blogging on the website. I say that loosely. But Real Family Talk.
Yeah, we're not all blogging. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't blogging.
RealFamilyTalk.weebly.com. RealFamilyTalk.weebly.com. Check us out. We're out there on the internet and getting a name for ourselves. We're rolling into a real good time now. And I'm going to wind down here because we are rolling up on the year anniversary that's coming up in a couple weeks. So we plan to have a good time. We're going to debut some new stuff during that week. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. November 6th, voting day, will be a new day, or we'll celebrate our year on air on November 6th, voting day. Shout out to all the people that got registered to vote today. Today was the last day to vote in Florida, so hopefully you got in there, made your votes known. Registered to vote so that on November 6th you can represent yourself. Yes, sir.
I want everybody out to New Life Church of God in Christ this Sunday. We have church at the Gathering Place at Wekiva High School. Google it if you need directions. It's going to be 100 Men in Black. We want you to come. Pastor Norman Hunter is going to be there. Dottie Peoples is going to be there. We want y'all to come out.
Shout out to New Life Kojic out there.
Church of God in Christ. Yeah, Pastor Hutchins. Good pastor.
See you next week.
There's a lot
family.
of good pastors out there.
This is your host, J Real.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.